and beyond.
We like to be closer. Sometimes I look for space. Be making disasters. New would soon take place. We talk about sinking all those fallen kings. I'll walk you from my place. There's nothing else to drink. It's swelling. Always hard to break. I think I'm sweating, but it's all just meant to be. I whisper sweet nothings, knew just what they meant. He told of my old plans, far I would have really went.
Since 1933, comic books, comic strips, and graphic novels have inspired many popular movies and TV shows. From the Daily Funnies to Batman, comics have been a huge medium in our world.
Comic strips that were featured in the Funnies pages were where many people got interested in comics.
Probably from when I was very young, I started reading Calvin and Hobbes, like maybe when I was about 5 years old. It sort of helped me learn how to read in a lot of ways. Really kicked off my obsession with comics in a big way. Got me into other things like Charlie Brown and, Garfield.
Definitely like little comic strips. I would read the Garfield compilations and just the comics in the paper.
I think that I read like the comic strips in the paper when I was pretty young.
After getting invested in comics through the Funnies, people moved on to comic books and larger graphic novels.
Things like Tintin and the X-Men were big for me also when I was really young.
You know, as I got older, I moved on to graphic novels. I think one of my favorites is just those big graphic novels. It's nice. It's like reading a book, but somehow it's more relaxing.
When I was younger, I read some of the Bone series and really enjoyed those.
Comics can be an essential part of people's lives. At the Center for Cartoon Studies, or CCS, cartoonists from around the world come to hone their skills and publish their works. Some are freelance artists, while others draw cartoons for a living.
It's helped me in so many ways, especially in technical ways and just knowing how to prepare things to get printed, to get things ready to go. My drawing has improved quite a bit. I'm not a great artist, but it's a pretty big difference.
I've never made a comic longer than maybe 2 pages before I came here, and they taught me how to make a mini comic, like a book, like something people can read, and taught me how to sell them. It's really helped. This is the best place.
Without famous superhero comic books such as Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man, we would not have any of the big Hollywood blockbusters we know and love. Even movies such as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Captain America were based off of comic books.
I think I've read mostly superhero stuff. Marvel 1602, which is a graphic novel, which is, I think it was written by Neil Gaiman, and it's different Marvel characters, but it's as if they were born around like colonial times in America.
I really got into Marvel for a while, and I interned for Marvel a few summers ago, and that was really amazing. So I was like super into Marvel. My current favorites, if we're talking superhero comics, are actually Batwoman.
Comics are great.
Comic books are inspiring.
Comic books are influential.
Comic books are the best.
Comic books are exciting.
Though many do not realize it, comic books have a huge influence on people's lives. The medium is growing more and more every day. With CATV Video Camp, I'm Jack Spinella.
Solar panels have become a popular way of conserving energy. However, there is more to this than meets the eye. Some people think that despite the inconveniences, you can make back your money in the long run and be using a clean alternative to fossil fuels.
Yes, I do support the use of solar panels because it's a good alternative to fossil fuels because it doesn't cause pollution.
I think we need more people buying solar energy so it becomes the norm.
If you build them domestically within the country, that you can actually provide a lot of job growth within the country to build the solar panels.
By strategically placing solar panels on town buildings, the community can benefit because they are conserving energy, helping the environment, and potentially saving money. Not only can large cities benefit, but local residents believe that our community can also take part in the act to go green.
On town buildings, I think it would be a very cost-effective way to go. I think in the long run, you make what you save in paying for electricity.
I think it's worth the cost to put solar panels on certain town buildings because our middle school is huge, so it gets a ton of sunlight, but smaller buildings might not get as much sunlight.
I think on town buildings, yes, because what happens is that it's generally owned by the government, so it's not private money.
If we had more socialized energy, we'd have a lot more efficient sort of town energy sources, and it's a lot cleaner.
On the other hand, some people have their doubts about the performance and the cost requirements necessary to install them. They wonder whether the cons outweigh the pros.
Hydroelectricity is sometimes more efficient because it can be going all time, but solar panels are mainly just for summer use.
Well, I think the cons are that they are expensive to make and that the payoff might not be equal if you're in a bad area to use them, and they break easily.
The initial cost is really expensive. And it's actually, of alternate energy sources, it's not as efficient because you lose a lot because we don't have purified enough silicon, so you lose a lot of energy to scattering.
It costs too much money to make them and install them and maintain them. Then they'll basically, their net gain is nothing. They cost more to produce and maintain than they give back.
The argument of whether solar panel investment should grow continues, and interest in the topic is increasing every day. However, attempts at the popularization are still about as effective as a solar panel on a rainy day. With CATV Video Camp, I'm Kate Mackey.
As the school year looms ahead, people are starting to think about what to wear and the dress code.
I really don't have any issues with it. I think that people have plenty of freedom of expression outside of school, and that having some kind of a dress code brings a sense of unity to any kind of environment.
Though many people are in support of having a dress code, some people have concerns about elements of dress codes at local schools.
Also, it can be hard to find clothes in stores that fit the dress code.
Lots of families are going to have trouble because a lot of their kids, it's clothes, they can't wear them to school anymore, and so that's going to be really expensive for some families. I think part of the issue is that it's almost impossible to buy girls' clothing that meets the dress code at Thetford Academy.
At local schools such as Thetford Academy and Heartland Elementary, there is a rule that a garment has to be no shorter than halfway up your leg from your knee.
Most places don't sell shorts that long for girls, especially for gym.
There is also a question of whether boys and girls are treated equally in terms of the dress code.
Yeah, girls are definitely under the microscope more than guys are. Like guys, I don't know. Guys pretty much wear like shorts and a t-shirt, like casual stuff. And I don't know, like girls can wear casual stuff too, but like it's just a lot more under skepticism.
I feel like there are more clothes that expose more for girls than there are that expose more for boys.
I guess to the extent of girls wearing, because of they may show more skin, that gets them into trouble. I think my son, we've had issues maybe with his muscle shirts though, so that's sort of equivalent. Haven't really thought about it. But now that I'm a 9-year-old getting older, I probably will. And, I could imagine that that could be a problem.
School dress codes are a controversial topic and affect many people.
There is no set solution to this issue, so conversations about the dress code will continue for years to come.
With CATV Video Camp, we're Sophie,
Claire,
Sydney,
and Jack.